Hey there, my name's Mike Smith. I am the owner of GMH Get More Hair, safe, affordable hair transplants for everyone. And in this video, I'd really like to talk about celebrity hair transplants. So recently, I went to see the new Elton John film, Rocket Man. And as a huge Elton John fan, I've got to say, it was a very moving film. It was incredibly touching, a story about his life. But one of the things I didn't expect to see in the movie was the mention of Elton John's hair loss. I mean, literally, they mention it from the start. When he was a little boy, he has a haircut in the film, and his mum says to the guy doing the hair, "Don't worry too much, he'll be as bald as a badger by the time he's 20, it runs in the family." And then through the film, you know, you see him losing his hair, you see him touching his hair, falling out in his hands. There's mentions of hair loss through the film. And I thought this was fascinating because when you see Elton John nowadays, Elton John wears a hair system. Okay, a lot of people ask me, you know, if he's had a hair transplant, and I say the same thing. I don't know, this isn't fact, but what I would guess is that Elton John has probably had quite a few unsuccessful hair transplants. Okay, Elton John wears a hair system that covers the whole of his head, the top and the back of his head. Now, a lot of guys will just have a hair system for the top of the head, okay, but Elton John's got one that does the top and the back and the sides. And I think that probably Elton John has had maybe one, maybe two, maybe more unsuccessful hair transplants. Because when you think about it, when Elton John was experiencing his hair loss and before he started wearing the hair system, this was back in the day when FUT hair transplants were incredibly popular. And I mean, that really was the thing that they were doing. So I would surmise that Elton John probably has had a few surgeries. His donor area probably does look pretty shady. And if you took the hair system off of him, you would no doubt see the totality of what's gone on. Now, why does a man like Elton John, who arguably has got more money than God, why does Elton John wear a hair system, ask yourself? Why? Why doesn't Elton John have a hair transplant? Well, like I said, I think he has had hair transplants, but here's the key thing to remember. Not everybody is a suitable candidate for a hair transplant. How about that? And Elton John, as much as I love and admire him, is not a suitable candidate for a hair transplant. I mean, perhaps he might have been suitable at one point, but then with a few dodgy surgeries, that's depleted his donor area, and then he's in the situation where he's at. So this is the point I'm trying to make. Guys will come to me and they will say to me, "Wayne Rooney, why does Wayne Rooney's hair transplant look awful? Why does it look so bad?" And I have to agree with him, it doesn't look great. I think there's a few factors, again, with someone like Wayne Rooney. I think that one of the factors is he was not a tremendously fantastic candidate for a hair transplant. I'm not sure of the clinic he went to and how many grafts he had and what they do, but it doesn't look fantastic. It really doesn't. Tiger Woods, the golf player. Now, Tiger Woods is an iconic golf player. He's massive. I mean, he's probably the biggest, most iconic golf player on the planet in history. And Tiger Woods has got money like we could only ever dream of. I see a picture of Tiger Woods the other day on the internet, a recent picture, and I stuck it on my Instagram story because it looks very much like Tiger Woods has had an FUT surgery. Again, very unsuccessful. I looked at his results, I looked at his hair, the density was very low. It didn't look like he'd had either a lot of grafts implanted or not a lot of grafts took. Now, was it an FUT scar around the side of his head? Or has he had FUE and he's had some shock loss? And, you know, we don't know because obviously a lot of these celebrities where their profile is so high, they won't speak about such things. But Tiger Woods, I mean, come on, with all of his money and his hair looks, I mean, it looks awful. It really does look bad. I suggest you go on the internet and try and find some recent pictures of Tiger Woods, you know, perhaps from the side or if you can catch him from the back, and you'll be able to see what I see. It's quite shocking. Other celebrities that wear hair systems and that are probably not great candidates for a hair transplant are people like John Travolta. Now, John Travolta, again, huge star in industry, Hollywood star in industry, massive. John Travolta wears hair systems. I mean, you can check, he wears them all the time. And I think, to be honest with you, I don't think he's actually that bothered about letting people know that he wears a hair system, because he's an incredibly confident, incredibly powerful man. But he wears a hair system. And why does he wear a hair system? You know, why are these guys doing it? And this is what I'm saying. Not everyone can have a magnificent result. Not everyone can have a magnificent result, okay? If you do have shall we say, a questionable donor area, if you're not the best candidate for surgery, you really need to be considering, is it right for you? Now look, it's cosmetic surgery, it's your money, it's your head. If you want it done, guess what? You can have it done. But you need to understand what is and what isn't possible. And that's what I'm trying to say with these celebrities. If these celebrities have got all the money in the world and they're not having the most magnificent results, okay, because they're not a great candidate, perhaps think about that. So then we look at some UK celebrities. A very famous bad hair transplant is a young man called James Locke from The Only Way is Essex. Now, we've tried to get hold of James Locke, and we've tried to reach out to him and, perhaps help sort out his hair transplant. I believe he's looking at another surgeon now. But James Locke has had, I believe, he had one surgery. He wasn't very happy with it. I think, it's well documented because it was on a lot of the hair loss forums and it was in a lot of the social media. And he said that I think he was having a second surgery. Now you look at James Locke's hair. James Locke really, I mean, let's be honest, he didn't really need a hair transplant. He probably didn't even need that much. But he's had it done and he's had an awful, awful result. And that's going to be with him for life. Hairline looks unnatural and it just looks horrible. It's very barcodey. And when we talk about barcode hairlines, you've really got to look at someone like Gareth Gates. Now, Gareth Gates seems a nice guy, seems a sensible guy, but when you look at the pictures that are released about his hair transplant, I mean, it does literally look like a barcode. And this is down to the skill of the surgeon, okay? Maria Fowler is another one that's had a very bad hair transplant. This young lady, she just wanted her hairline lowered slightly, and I mean, it really looks awful. And again, we're not telling you new stuff. This is on the internet. It's everywhere. It's on social media. You can check it out. But these people with money and these people with influence and these people that have got, everything they want, how are they having bad surgery? How is it happening to them? You really have to do your research, guys. We would really recommend, especially if you're looking to have a hair transplant with us, you really research what we do, how we do it, and our kind of results. Now, one of the things that we do at Cosmetica, or should I say one of the things that Dr. Akar does at Cosmetica, is they will use the single hair follicles for the front hairline. No multiples in the front hairline. You want the single hairs right at the front. Now, what Cosmetica does and what Dr. Akar does that I believe no other clinic in Istanbul in Turkey does is they take the single hairs and then they separate the even finer single hairs. So they grade it again. And they'll use these baby hairs, these very, very soft single hairs to put at the very front of your hairline. And then they will build the density up as they go back with the multiples and the thicker hairs to make it look as natural as possible. And that's really the key. If you look at my hair, I don't think it looks unnatural at all. You look at the shape of my hairline. And this is what you want, guys. You really want to do your research. You really want to go somewhere that understands how to do hairlines and understands the difference between a very pluggy, barcodey hair transplant and a natural hair transplant. So, these celebrities that are out there that have had surgery, that have had bad surgery, the ones that have had good surgery, you're never going to know. Because when you've had a really good hair transplant, such as myself, no one notices, and that's the key to it. Do your research, do your homework, and understand, even if you've got more money than God, it doesn't matter. If you don't do your research and you don't go to the right clinic, you will live with a lifetime of regret. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please send in your suggestions for future videos, what you'd like us to talk about. You can hit us up on our website, info@getmorehair.co.uk. And it's been fantastic to see you guys again. Please tune in again next week. Like, share, subscribe, and of course, get more hair.